Hello there, I'm Jeff Schwartz and this is our April 2026 Schwartz Performance Shop Update video. Let's go out in the shop and see what we got going on this month. As you can see, this is the 57 Chevy convertible with the LS3 engine and the retro look package on there. We've got all the front sheet metal on here, radiator, air conditioning and so forth is all plumbed, and the dash is in there. We still got a few little elements to put on the dash and then back in with the carpet and door panels. And we did a little trick in the trunk of this 57 Chevy convertible. Let me show it to you. What we've got here is an old Coca-Cola cooler called Coca-Cooler. It's an actual vintage piece, and if you flip this open, we've got our Optima yellow top battery hidden in there. Of course, it's mounted in a Schwartz billet aluminum Optima battery tray, and then we've got a kill switch right here. So it looks like an old cooler in the trunk, but it's the battery in there. And this first gen Camaro has the interior in it now. This is a fairly simple interior, factory looking door panels and dash pad, leather seats, and then matching rear seat to match the pattern in the leather seats, and a custom console for the T56 Magnum shifters coming through there. The next step is to get the glass in the front and back windshield. This is getting flush mounted glass. The rear was a little bit oversized, so we had to do a little massaging on the glass itself. It fits perfectly now, and that'll be installed next. This Roadrunner is ready to go to the upholstery shop. They got to get the headliner in there before you can put the glass in. That's how Mopars are put together. And we've got the seats mounted in there, so upholstery will take care of the carpeting and so forth. Then we'll get it back here and get the glass in there. So we thought we were going to have some time to drive these cars on the roads with the break in the weather. We had like a nice rainstorm over the weekend a couple of weeks ago that washed all the salt off the roads, and we were perfectly poised to go out and test drive these cars and get them ready to go to the customer. And then we got this hellacious blizzard, and they salted the heck out of the roads again. And then we got like another cold spell, and they salted the roads some more. And thank God today it is pouring rain and the salt is getting washed off the roads. So we've been waiting to drive some of these cars on the road. This Hellephant-powered car is now ready to go. The upholstery has been done for a little while. There's a couple little minor details that we had to finish up, and now it's just ready to be driven, make sure everything's ready to go to the customer, and then this one is getting shipped to Florida. And this Challenger is also back from upholstery. It's got a very stock-ish looking leather seat in there with contrast stitching. This one has a few little details to be done yet. We've got a Challenger's TA style stripe going down the side, some hood emblems, and then this also needs to be driven. Almost at the finish line. And this 66 Corvette with the big block in it is also ready to be driven a little bit. It also had some interior work done on it, and the last piece was fitting the leather covered console in there and the leather shifter boot along with the convertible top. So this is also ready to be driven, and then it'll be on to the customer. This is a local fella, so if you might see that around this area this summer. And what we've got here is a Land Rover with a tiny little four-cylinder diesel engine in it. Obviously right-hand drive like they made them in England. Not sure exactly what we're going to do with this, but I do see some rust issues here and there, and hopefully it's not too bad. We'll probably end up putting a modern chassis and a modern V8 engine in there is what I'm guessing. So let us know in the comments what you think you would like to do if you had this car. This is another new project that came in, a 1950 Plymouth Suburban. Yeah, I know, Suburbans are Chevys or GMCs, but actually in 1950 there was a Plymouth Suburban wagon. And as you can see, it's a station wagon. It's not a gigantic car. It's kind of like a modestly sized car. So a really cool car, actually. The roof line is kind of low. It almost looks like it's chopped from the factory, but this is all stock right now. Inline 6 flathead is in there now. What do you think we ought to do for an engine for this one? It is getting a Schwartz G-Machine chassis, incidentally. So let us know what you think it should have for a powertrain. As you may have seen a couple months ago, we were working on a 55 Chevy that came in with another chassis underneath it. This is that chassis that's now been powder coated black, and the 55 is painted also black. This is the 632,000 horsepower engine that's going in it, and this is going to be a pretty exciting project. I believe this one's getting a 6-speed manual trans in it. Should be quite a ride. Incidentally, this is a billet aluminum intake manifold from Hogan's. We had to get this in order to fit it under the hood without losing any horsepower. So this is 100% CNC machined out of a billet chunk, and doesn't lose any horsepower, so should still be 1,000 horsepower, but the hood and the outside of the car will remain very stock looking. Should be a fun ride. Stay tuned next month and you'll see the car going back together. This is that vintage Ford F1 truck and the Cummins 4-cylinder turbo engine from a John Deere tractor, or destined for a John Deere tractor. Anyway, this whole setup is going in here, as I pointed out in a previous video. We are almost done with the engineering of this. We are starting to cut material, so it should be a pretty fun project. We are not doing the entire build. We're just doing a 4-wheel drive chassis, setting the engine in there, putting the body on it, and then it's getting shipped back to the customer and they're going to finish the build. And here we have another stack of chassis for 68 through 72 Chevelle, and yes, some customers buy them in bulk. This is the Coyote-powered Bronco along with our Schwartz 4x4 chassis underneath that. We're in the final stages of the build on this, probably a week and a half, and it'll be at the body and paint phase where we do the final body work and get ready to paint it. So that's where it's at. Nearly everything has been mocked up in there, you know, seats and everything. Be sure and stay tuned for next month's video to see where we're at on this project. Here's another one that's real close to the final completion of the build process, and then the next phase is final body work and paint. So again, not much left to do on this, and then it'll be going into the final body work and paint stage, and then back for final assembly. This is that 32 Ford that just came back from being painted, and we are about ready to put an EcoBoost 4-cylinder. Originally it was going to get the factory flathead put back in it, but the customer changed his mind and wanted the Turbo 4. So we did a little beefing up of the chassis here with some heavy plate, and did some mods to the steering to tighten everything up. So we just have to paint the front half of the chassis here, and then we'll begin putting this back together with the EcoBoost 4-cylinder. We were able to get an adapter for the automatic transmission that we're running in there, so it should be a pretty slick setup there with a lot of power for a 32 Ford. Yes, we did get our billet aluminum front cover for this 1800 horsepower Hellcat engine. We've got the front motor plate mounted in there, and Dick has been working on machining this one, and then he'll get that on the back, and then we can continue on with the build. There was a little bit of a hold up getting the parts for this stage of the build, and now we've got them all, and it's fast forward to the next phase. This is that 57 Ford project with the 7.3 Godzilla engine. A while back we had it media blasted after we were done with all the final build of it, and we've put it back together with epoxy primer on it now, and we're adjusting gaps, trying to get everything fitted perfectly. We had to modify the trunk deck lid a little bit to get that fit better. Basically, these are things that were kind of fitted poorly from the factory back in the day, and we're wanting a better fit because it's going to have a black show quality paint job, and we don't want, you know, factory defects in it. So we're adjusting everything the best we can get it, and then I've got a paintless dent guy coming in a couple days to get any little minor dents here and there that were in it from way back. There was a little bit of hail damage on the roof, so we're going to get all those little dents out of there so we don't have any body filler in those locations. And this poor guy keeps getting shoved in the back corner, but we're going to be working on it a couple of Saturdays coming up here. Couple minor things to finish up on it, and then we'll pull the body off, final weld the cage, final weld the chassis, and the chassis will go out for powder coating. Once that comes back, we'll have the body wet sanded and drop it back on the chassis, and then it's going to get wrapped in that red, white, and blue paint scheme that I've showed you before. We just got a pile of 9-inch rear ends here from Curry Enterprises. There's actually 2 pallets here. And the reason we use Curry for all of our 9-inch rear ends is they actually dyno test them for noise for us. So they build these and then put them on a dyno and test them for noise. And if it has excessive noise, then they put a different ring and pinion in there and get it quieted down and then ship it to us. So all of these are pre-tested for noise. So you don't have to worry when you buy one of our chassis that a year or 2 down the road when you get your car project done, the rear end is whining and you can't do anything about it. So we always use Curry because they dyno test for us. Anyway, that's all we have for this month. So stay tuned for next month and be sure and hit that subscribe button. Thank you.